Welcome, the learner, to today's deep dive. Imagine for a second that you're trying to save your father from a severe degenerative mind disease.
Right.
But instead of a hospital, the facility holding him is this infinite matrix of corrupted alternate realities.
Mm.
And the disease itself isn't biological. It's a cosmic, tentacled god that literally feeds on memories.
Yeah, it's quite the intense setup.
Whether you're a hardcore gamer desperately trying to catch up on the lore, or you're just someone fascinated by deep world building and cosmic horror, well, today's mission is absolutely custom built for you.
We are unpacking the massive, convoluted endgame narrative of Path of Exile 1. We've got a towering stack of source material in front of us, basically an extensive breakdown of the 5 distinct eras of the game's endgame lore. Our ultimate goal is to perfectly prep you for the world of Path of Exile 2. And, to truly grasp this universe, we have to establish the foundation that every single one of these cosmic nightmares is built upon.
Right, because everything we're going to discuss today revolves around a singular, terrifying concept, which is the Atlas of Worlds.
Exactly. And, this isn't a map you just roll up and put in your pocket.
No, definitely not.
The Atlas is a corrupted, otherworldly series of physical planes, star realms, and dreamscapes. It's literally a tangible dimension of madness.
Wow.
And the only way you can access it is through this massive, esoteric machine known as the map device.
A masterpiece of thaumaturgy.
Right, which in the universe of Wraeclast is this highly dangerous science. It blends mechanical engineering with the raw, reality-altering magic of gems.
So what starts as a deeply personal quest to save a father's mind somehow spirals into this insane meta-narrative about madness, cosmic toddlers, and the extreme dangers of endless obsession.
It is the ultimate irony.
It really is. But before we get to the giant eldritch horrors wanting to consume our reality, we need to understand the deeply personal tragedy that kicked the doors to the Atlas wide open in the first place.
Yeah, so our story begins with a woman named Zana, the master cartographer. Her driving motivation is searching for her father, Valdo Caera.
Okay.
And Valdo wasn't like a soldier or a warrior. He was a brilliant scholar and inventor from Oriath.
And Oriath at this time was a strict, heavily militarized theocracy, right?
Exactly. The man in charge, High Templar Venarius, was a religious dictator with some very dangerous ambitions.
Sounds about right for this universe.
Venarius discovered this ancient broken map device and essentially forced Valdo to re-engineer it. He wanted Oriath to exploit whatever resources lay inside the Atlas.
Okay, let's unpack this. Valdo gets forced by a tyrannical government to fix a machine he doesn't fully understand. He turns it on and gets sucked inside.
Yep.
I used to think of the map device like a cursed virtual reality headset, but it's much worse than that, isn't it?
Oh, much worse.
It's not a simulation. When you step in, your physical body goes into a realm that actively mutates your biology based on your own subconscious.
That distinction is crucial. The Atlas physically and psychologically terraforms anyone who enters it.
Which leads to the twist.
Her heartbreaking twist, yeah. Zana eventually finds a way into the Atlas to rescue him, only to discover that the final boss she's been tracking...
The Shaper.
Yeah, this reality-warping, tentacled entity called the Shaper, who commands the very cosmos. That's actually her dad.
Unbelievable.
The Atlas had completely fractured his mind and reshaped his body to match his newfound godlike control over the dreamscape.
I can't even fathom that realization. You finally find the monster creating all these nightmare realms, and it turns out to be your amnesiac father.
Yeah, it's brutal.
But the Shaper wasn't the true villain of this era.
Far from it. While Valdo was trapped and mutating, his fractured mind was actually being preyed upon by something far older and much darker.
The Elder.
Exactly. Right. An entity known as the Elder.
And looking at the source material, the Elder isn't just like a big monster.
Yeah.
It represents an actual concept.
The Elder is a being of decay. It's an eldritch abomination that literally eats memories. It doesn't just erase them, it physically siphons the cognitive essence out of a living being, leaving them as a hollow, subservient shell.
That is terrifying.
According to the lore, this is an ancient cyclical threat. Thousands of years ago, a primeval sect of humans known as the Asmirians actually fought this thing.
Oh, the Watchers of Decay, right.
Yes, the Watchers of Decay, and they were warned about the Elder by a nameless goddess.
Well, the most devastating detail in all of this is what the Elder chose to eat first.
Yeah.
It specifically devoured Valdo's memories of his daughter, Zana. So when she finally confronts him, showing him his own memories to try and snap him out of it. He just stares blankly at her.
He doesn't know her
Their
anymore.
connection is just totally gone.
It is a profound tragedy, and it really sets the tone for everything that follows.
But, this actually brings up something I really want to challenge you on. We know the Atlas is fundamentally designed to fracture the human mind.
Right.
Anyone who goes in eventually goes mad. If the machine's primary function is basically psychological destruction, wasn't Xana's quest to save her father doomed from the absolute second she turned the nap device on?
That is a phenomenal point.
It feels like she's walking into a highly radioactive zone,
Yeah.
hoping to cure someone of radiation poisoning.
I love that analogy, and it speaks to the core theme of the entire Path of Exile lore, the hubris of thinking you can control the uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Xana's desperation blinds her to the reality of the machine. However, she does achieve a form of resolution during what the game calls the War for the Atlas era.
How so?
Well, she realizes she can't just talk her father down. She needs to sever the Elder's control over him.
And how does she actually pull that off? I mean, you don't just punch a concept of decay in the face.
You don't. She uses a powerful thaumaturgical artifact called the Arcana.
The Arcana.
Yeah. The source material doesn't give us a full schematic, but mechanically, the Arcana acts as a metaphysical container. It's designed to bind Eldritch energy. Xana, alongside the player character, uses the Arcana during the final battle to trap the Elder.
So they actually seal it away.
By binding the Elder and its master, which is the underlying force of decay, they manage to banish it from the Atlas. This finally severs the connection and allows her father's tormented soul to rest.
A bittersweet ending. Dad is gone, but at least he's at peace. Xana won, and the ultimate evil is sealed away.
You would think so.
But if you think that brings lasting peace to Wraeclast, you haven't been paying attention to this universe.
Not at all. Conquering the darkness in the Atlas simply creates a new, far more intimate kind of monster. The vacuum of power demands to be filled.
Right, because when Xana fought the Elder, she didn't do it alone. She had help from a group of incredibly powerful human exiles known as the Elder Slayers.
The people who actually did the heavy lifting in combat.
Exactly.
And here is where the narrative takes a brilliant, dark turn into the Conquerors of the Atlas era. After the battle was won, these heroes didn't go home.
They stayed inside the Atlas.
They did. And just as you pointed out with the radioactive zone analogy, prolonged exposure drove them completely insane.
Wow.
But what's fascinating here is that the Atlas didn't just make them generically crazy, it systematically weaponized their specific inherent personality flaws.
It read their minds and amplified their worst traits.
Yeah.
Let's look at what happened to them, because it's absolutely fascinating. You have Baran.
Right.
He was actually the brother of a prominent militia leader named Kirak. Baran started out wanting to do the right thing, but the Atlas twisted that into an obsession with divine righteousness. He became a zealous tyrant.
Then you have Drox.
Oh,
He valued discipline and order. The Atlas twisted that into an unyielding militaristic need to conquer every realm he stepped into.
and Veritania?
She sought purity and justice, which mutated into a detached, absolute nihilism. She wanted to freeze everything into perfect, dead stillness.
And Alhesman, who relied on agility and survival, was consumed by primal predatory instincts, essentially becoming a venomous beast himself.
It's incredible.
I absolutely love the meta commentary happening here. Because if you look at these conquerors, they are a dark, twisted mirror of you, the player.
Oh, entirely.
They represent exactly what happens when you endlessly grind a video game's endgame for more power, more loot, and more control. You lose sight of why you started.
You become a monster who only cares about the grind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Atlas kept throwing challenges at them, and they kept demanding more.
It is a brilliant narrative reflection of the gameplay loop itself. The Atlas fed on their ambition, and their ambition fed the Atlas.
But the absolute worst fate belongs to their leader, a man named Sirus.
Sirus, the Awakener of Worlds.
And critically, he was Xana's love interest. Sirus is the tragic culmination of all this.
He really is.
He doesn't just want to rule a dreamscape. He breaks out of the Atlas into the real world. And his apathy has become so absolute that he decides to completely annihilate Orius Square, which is the major civilian capital.
It's a massive...
Xana is forced to watch as we, the players, strike down the man she loves to stop it. The lore notes she literally apologizes to his disintegrating body. It's devastating.
It really is. But let's look at the action Xana took right before this disaster. When she first realized her friends were going mad and getting too powerful inside the Atlas, her solution wasn't to try and heal them or pull them out.
No. Her solution was to trap them. She essentially sealed the vault door to the map device, locking them inside the burning building.
Precisely.
And I have to ask you about this because this completely shifts how I view her character. Is Xana actually the hero of this story?
That's the big question.
First her dad, then her friends, her lover. She uses the map device to solve her problems. But the map device is the very thing destroying everyone around her. She acts as an enabler under the guise of a protector.
That is the central moral ambiguity of Xana's character. She operates under the belief that containment is the only option. She couldn't bring herself to kill her friends, so she quarantined them. But she fundamentally failed to realize that the cage she used, the Atlas itself, was the very thing mutating her prisoners into greater threats.
Her tragic flaw is her desperate reliance on a system that fundamentally ruins lives.
Exactly. And her mistake costs everyone dearly, because once we, the players, break into the Atlas to eliminate those mutated human conquerors, we cause another massive shift.
We wipe the slate clean, we create a metaphysical silence in the Atlas,
And in a cosmos filled with eldritch horrors, silence acts like a dinner bell.
which ushers in the era of the cosmic horrors. With the human element removed, a massive power vacuum is left.
And a vacuum never lasts long.
Right, so we're introduced to a being called the Maven, who is accompanied by a mysterious herald known as the Envoy.
Yes, the echoes of the Atlas era.
The Maven initially appears to us as a feminine projection, almost playful and inquisitive, right?
But we quickly learn from the lore that this is just a palatable facade for our human minds. She is, in reality, a terrifying Lovecraftian abomination from a faraway, unfathomable world.
Her motivation is what makes her so uniquely unsettling. She isn't here to conquer Wraeclast.
No.
She doesn't want to eat our memories like the Elder. She just wants to watch us fight. The lore says she literally collects the essence of powerful beasts we defeat, recreates them in a golden starscape called the Maven's Crucible.
And forces us to fight them all at once, purely for her own entertainment.
She is a fledgling entity. In cosmic terms, she's an infant learning about her environment through observation and conflict.
Here's where it gets really interesting. I kept thinking of this analogy while reading the source material. The Maven is basically a cosmic toddler burning ants with a magnifying glass.
That is terrifyingly accurate.
Except we are the ants. And she's figured out that if she drops even bigger, deadlier bugs into our colony, we will fight them. So she traps us in this crucible, watches us scurry around fighting for our lives, and rewards us with shiny loot when we win. That analogy captures her complete lack of human morality perfectly, and the Envoy acts as her cosmic babysitter.
The babysitter, yeah.
He constantly warns the player not to actually harm the toddler, because if we anger the Maven, her progenitor, a being of truly unfathomable power that birthed her, will hear her cry and descend upon our world.
That sounds like a terrifying problem for tomorrow, because right now, the ringing of that cosmic dinner bell attracted other hungry things.
Oh, yes, it did.
The lore takes a massive one-year time skip here into the siege of the Atlas era, and the political landscape of the real world has completely shifted.
Everything changes in that year. Orath is in ruins after Sirus's attack. Xana, consumed by guilt and trauma, completely vanishes into a self-imposed exile.
Wow.
Someone has to step up to protect reality, and that person is Kirak.
This is Baran's brother, the militia leader.
Yes. Kirak forms a citizens' vanguard. He moves the base of operations to the Karui archipelago.
A rugged, lawless island chain far away from whatever politicians are left.
Exactly. But unlike Xana, who always operated in the shadows and tried to keep the Atlas a tightly guarded secret, Kirak is totally transparent.
He openly recruits mercenaries.
He does, and he encourages the public to explore the map device to secure resources.
Which is basically hanging a giant neon, "We are here" sign in the cosmic void. He is broadcasting their presence to the entire universe.
A very dangerous move.
And it immediately draws the attention of two new horrifying factions. We get the Searing Exarch, who represents a faction called the Cleansing Flame.
And the Eater of Worlds, who is part of a faction called the Tangle.
What is fascinating about this era is how we actually engage with these entities. We don't just stumble upon them.
Right. Kirak's engineers develop highly specialized tools to track them.
The luminous astrolabe and the flesh compass, these aren't normal navigation tools. Can you explain how these actually function?
Yeah, so the luminous astrolabe is designed to map metaphysical heat signatures. It tracks the conceptual burning malice of the cleansing flame across the star realms.
And the flesh compass.
The flesh compass is pure visceral body horror. It physically reacts to the gravitational pull of the Tangle's infinite sprawling hunger.
That is so gross.
You use these instruments to track these entities into ethereal realms with names that describe psychological states rather than physical locations.
Right, you fight them in the absence of patience and wisdom, or the absence of symmetry and harmony.
It really emphasizes that you aren't just fighting a dragon in a cave. You are fighting the very embodiment of hunger and fire in the void.
You are tracking a hurricane, but the hurricane is made of pure malice. But here is the detail that actually made my jaw drop when reading through the Envoy's dialogue.
New twist.
Yeah, after we use these insane tools, and after we battle these godlike beings of fire and flesh, the Envoy tells us we haven't even seen the real threat.
The Searing Exarch and the Eater of Worlds, they are just the lackeys.
The giant Eldritch gods are just middle management.
They are the lieutenants, the Maven's progenitor, the masters of the Cleansing Flame, the true heart of the Tangle. They are still out there in the dark, eagerly waiting for their chance to feast upon the Atlas in our world. The player hasn't stopped the invasion. They've simply delayed the first wave.
So we've survived cosmic mind flayers, tragic lovers turned warlords, and Lovecraftian toddlers watching us bleed for sport. It is a wildly dense, phenomenal narrative.
It truly is.
But as we look toward the future, so what does this all mean? How does this massive history lesson set the stage for you, the listener, as you prepare to step into the world of Path of Exile 2?
The source material synthesizes this perfectly into 3 crucial pillars that will directly carry over into the new era.
Okay, let's hear them.
The first pillar is the Atlas itself. Despite all the cosmic wars and the changing of the guard, the Atlas remains the core endgame system.
So it's not gone.
No, it is a real, intangible realm of dreams that will inevitably inspire madness in anyone who dares to explore it.
It's the ultimate haunted house. No matter who holds the deed, the house is still cursed, and it isn't going anywhere.
Precisely. The second pillar involves the technology to access it. The map device, Valdo Caera's tragic feat of thaumaturgical engineering, returns.
But who has it now?
Well, the knowledge of how to build and operate it is no longer a secret kept by a single family. It is now in the hands of Wraeclast's most talented, ambitious engineers.
Which brings us to the third, and easily the most compelling, pillar.
The fate of Xana herself.
As we established, she vanished a year ago. But recent lore drops, specifically from the settlers of Kalgur expansion, reveal a massive secret.
She is alive.
Yes, and she's been secretly exchanging encrypted letters from the shadows with a brilliant engineer named Isla in the booming town of Kingsmarch.
And what are they discussing in these secret letters? The construction of entirely new map devices.
I want to connect the dots here for you, the listener, because there is a terrifying, ominous pattern staring us right in the face.
Very much so.
Every single person who deeply interacts with the map device, Valdo, Sirus, the Conquerors, even the player, eventually loses their grip on humanity. The Atlas corrupts everyone without exception.
Nobody is immune.
So, looking at these clues, I need you to weigh in on this. When Xana finally returns in the sequel, are we going to see the triumphant return of an ally? Or are we looking at the birth of a deeply jaded villain?
That is the lingering mystery that colors the entire transition into Path of Exile 2. Think about what Xana has endured.
So much loss.
She watched her father mutate into a monster. She watched her lover disintegrate into ash. And she watched her closest friends become the very tyrants they swore to destroy, all because of the Atlas.
Her defining character flaw was always her obsessive need to control it.
Exactly, to act as the sole gatekeeper of reality.
It's like she physically cannot let it go. She is secretly building the very machines that ruined her entire life.
And remember the psychological toll of her environment. Isolation breeds distortion. When you spend years hiding from the world, obsessing over a realm of corrupted dreams, the lines between protecting reality and violently controlling it begin to blur.
That makes so much sense.
If her fatal flaw was always her obsessive need to trap those she deemed too dangerous, her current isolation might mean she has finally succumbed to the very madness she spent her whole life fighting.
Wow.
When you finally step through the portal and meet Xana in Path of Exile 2, you have to ask yourself who or what will actually be looking back at you.
What an incredibly haunting thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We've journeyed from a daughter's tragic, doomed rescue mission deep underground, all the way to a cosmic war for reality itself, fought against beings made of literal concepts.
It's been a wild ride.
We've untacked how endless ambition turns heroes into monsters, and how sometimes the cure is exactly what's poisoning you. From both of us here, as you gear up for your next adventure, remember the golden rule of Wraeclast. Stay sane, exiles.